June 24th, 2022 will be one of those days where you remember where you were when the United States Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Abortion is now illegal in more parts of the country. Colorado is not one of those parts. Earlier this year, Colorado lawmakers protected a woman's right to an abortion by putting that in state law. Colorado will be a destination for women unable to receive abortions where they live. Look at the surrounding states on this map. Those states either restrict abortion access or do not explicitly protect the right to an abortion. Do not worry. That's the message from Democratic Governor Jared Polis. He says not to worry about access to abortions. He can say that now, but it is not set in stone in Colorado. In a statement just after the Supreme Court's decision, Polis said, "Because of my administration and Democratic leadership in the legislature, Coloradans don't have to worry because our rights are still protected today, despite the unfortunate reality that the U.S. Supreme Court just rolled those freedoms back for millions of Americans in other states." Colorado's new law protecting abortion access is a state statute. It can be changed by a future state legislature or by a successful ballot issue. Those are unlikely because as long as Democrats are in charge of either the state House or the state Senate, an abortion restriction bill will not make it to the governor. And as long as the governor is a Democrat, it's unlikely it would be signed. And Colorado voters have rejected attempts to restrict abortion access 6 times since 1998, most recently in 2020. Right now, there's a large group of protesters outside the state capitol, a protest that was called on earlier today for 6 o'clock. The rain has not kept them away. They've been chanting and carrying signs, and now traffic on Lincoln is blocked. State troopers have currently closed the road. We'll keep an eye on this and go back if it gets any different than what you're seeing right now at the state capitol. With Colorado on an island surrounded by states with restrictions or no access to abortions, demand for legal abortions in this state will draw women from out of state. Longer wait times for abortion access is already a thing. The state health department reports out-of-state visitors accounted for 13.5% of abortions in Colorado last year. You can kind of see that on the bottom right of the chart. 1,560 abortions, a 6-year high. That number is more than likely to go up with more states limiting abortion access.
We're seeing, depends on the week, between 50 and 100% more patients than we were seeing a year ago. And we're scheduled 2 or 3 weeks out.
For those of you voting this weekend and choosing this as your key issue, here is where the Republican candidates for governor and Senate stand on abortion. Gubernatorial candidate Heidi Ganahl opposes abortion access except in cases of rape, incest, or to protect the mother. Greg Lopez opposes all access to abortion without exception. But again, the legislature would have to get them a bill to sign first for anything to change. For U.S. Senate, Ron Hanks opposes access to abortion with no exceptions, and Joe O'Dea has said he would support a federal law to protect a woman's right to choose early in the pregnancy. He is against late-term abortion, but has not defined what he means by late term. Colorado's Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser and 7 Democratic district attorneys have signed a letter saying they won't enforce anti-abortion laws. Here's the line from the letter that stuck out to me. "We decline to use our office's resources to criminalize reproductive health decisions and commit to exercise our well-settled discretion and refrain from prosecuting those who seek, provide, or support abortions." That's not going to be a problem in Colorado because the state currently protects a woman's right to have access to abortions. But we reached out to all 8 and asked if they're okay with other law enforcement not enforcing laws they disagree with, such as the large capacity magazine ban or when COVID restrictions existed. A few of the DAs provided PR responses by email. Denver's DA emphasized law enforcement discretion in who to arrest or when not to file a case. Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser wrote back, "All prosecutors have to make decisions about enforcement priorities. The Attorney General is not in a position to second-guess a fellow prosecutor's decisions, and ultimately the public makes decisions about prosecution priorities by who they vote for as their district attorney or attorney general." For all the access Colorado still allows for abortions, the effort to get Roe v. Wade overturned included help from Colorado. The Colorado Catholic Conference sees the Supreme Court decision as progress, but not the end.
As the Catholic Church, as the pro-life movement, generally speaking, we celebrate the end of Roe, but we also have a lot of work to do in our home state too. That's why we celebrate now. Roe v. Wade is done. Now it's in the states, and what's going to be very interesting is we're going to see a lot of pro-life states start getting stronger and promoting a sanctity of life, and a lot of pro-abortion states like Colorado doing the complete opposite.
It's now been 55 years since Colorado adopted a groundbreaking law that significantly loosened restrictions on legal abortions. In 1967, rookie Democratic state lawmaker Dick Lamb introduced the bill. It allowed abortions if the woman's physical or mental health was threatened, if the unborn child might have birth defects, or in cases of rape or incest. Before the law, Colorado, like many states, allowed abortions only if a woman's life was at stake. Lamb said at the time that he thought the bill might derail his political career. The bill passed and was signed into law by Republican Governor John Love. It did not derail Lamb's political career, as he would later be governor and run for president.